In Malawi, where 1/5 of the country's territory is taken up by Lake Malawi, access to clean, safe water is a daily struggle in the rural areas.
Malawi is a landlocked country, but most of its land is covered by Lake Malawi. There are about 12 million people, inhabitants in Malawi, who are mostly 80% living in rural areas, and their main occupation is subsistence farming. So that means they live on small plot of land where they cultivate to have food, just enough for their food.
We get water in a shallow well, a little bit far from here. But water isn't good because our livestock, cattle, goats also drink from there.
When we get water from that place, we use it for drinking, washing, bathing and cooking.
The community uses this unprotected well as their main water source. CRS and their local partner Catacom work with the community to provide information on how to treat this water so that it's safe to drink. Boiling the water and using chlorine tablets are a few examples of how the community copes with their current situation. In many of Malawi's rural communities, one way to access clean drinking water is to have a borehole, which is a water pump that draws fresh water from 15 to sometimes as much as 40 meters beneath the Earth's surface. To reach the water in the borehole, CRS provides efficient hand pumps that can be maintained by the users. In a small village outside of Incheyu in Malawi, the borehole process provides this community with a safer and closer water source. CRS and Catacom assist with the installation of hand pumps, the training of community technicians on pump maintenance, and education on good health and hygiene practices to ensure the project's sustainability.
It is very important to drill the water for these communities because, one, we are protecting the communities from the diarrheal diseases. We came here to meet the communities which have got critical problems on water and sanitation. We came to choose the site where these boreholes should be drilled. From there, we brought in the drilling machines and they started drilling.
We have the drilling rig which comes to the site. The best period to drill boreholes here in Malawi, it is the period around June to October. During this time, the water table is low, so it means you are assured of having a good yield of water throughout the year.
The drilling process can take up to 2 weeks to complete, but even in the early stages of the process, the village community realizes the improvement it will make in their lives.
We feel this borehole will be very helpful, going to change our lives. Water will be near, but it is also clean. We are proud to have this borehole.
In another rural community many miles from Incheyu, the Catalawezi village relies on their borehole for completing some of the simple tasks that we take for granted. Because of donations to CRS, the borehole in this area has provided much-needed access to clean, safe drinking water and also led to the development of community-based child daycare centers, or CBCCs.
Safe water indeed plays a very important role even for the community-based child care centers, in that, children are very vulnerable. Their immunity is not strong as adults. So exposure to unsafe water source makes them more vulnerable to diarrheal diseases, which are very common in Malawi and also lead to high mortality rates in Malawi.
Not only does having a borehole within the community help with maintaining the children's health, but the women of the community, who used to have to walk over 2 hours for water, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, now have the time and energy to care for their families and homes. So they also make sure that their water source is being properly maintained.
to protect these waters, we are giving them protected water, which is good for the health.
Access to safe water comes in many different forms. In Malawi, the installation and use of boreholes, protected springs and wells, and pumping water from lakes provides many rural communities with water that's needed for everyday use.